We're running out of medicine, folks, and it's only a matter of time until this becomes a full-blown emergency for the United States.
FDA is sounding the alarm about a shortage of a commonly prescribed antibiotic to treat secondary bacterial infections in children diagnosed with RSV and the flu virus. Cases of RSV are rising in 31 states, putting the antibiotic amoxicillin in high demand. CBS's Roxana Saberi has important information that parents need to know.
When Kate Brown tried to get the antibiotic amoxicillin for her 10-year-old daughter's ear infection this week, she was shocked to learn she couldn't.
And I get to the pharmacy and they said, I'm sorry, but we don't have any amoxicillin and really nobody does. So we're going to have to ask the doctor to switch her medication to something else. And I was a little nervous putting her on something that she hadn't been on before.
Fortunately, an alternative was available.
I'm thankful, but I'm honestly kind of nervous. Like, at what point are we going to run out of the other options?
So this mom has the right idea. It's that foresight that parents have, I guess. If we're running out of this stuff now, like, what happens when alternatives are used up as well? I mean, it's a very dangerous and terrifying situation, to be honest. And what makes it even worse for us is that we don't really manufacture most of the stuff here at home. I mean, like, we're so reliant on countries like China for medicine that, if they cut off the supplies right now, we'd all be in trouble.
There's a little known fact about some of the most common drugs Americans take, from antibiotics to heart medicine to antidepressants. 80% of the key ingredients used to make them come from overseas, mainly from China.
China's stated aim is to become the pharmacy to the world.
Rosemary Gibson is the author of China RX.
How much of our drug supply is controlled by China?
We're so dependent on China that if they shut the door on sending medicines to us, our hospitals would shut down within a couple of months.
In the case of some drugs, like antibiotics, China has a total stranglehold.
We can't make penicillin anymore. The last penicillin plant in the United States closed in 2004.
In March, a prominent Chinese economist suggested his country's control of the market could be used to send a message. If exports are reduced, he said, the medical systems of some Western countries will not run well.
Basically, we've outsourced our entire industry to China. That is a strategic vulnerability in and of itself.
John Adams is a retired brigadier general.
How are pharmaceuticals turned into weapons of war?
Pharmaceuticals are necessary for our warfighters. They're necessary for our population to remain healthy, to cure diseases. If those are either toxic or they're not available, we're going to get sick and we will die.
There have already been problems with contamination. In 2008, there were dozens of deaths tied to batches of the blood thinner heparin. And in the past year, more than 50 recalls of some of the most popular blood pressure medicines, contaminated in China and India with chemicals linked to cancer.
Makes you wonder why the United States just keeps on poking them with a stick, huh? Tell you what, if you think we should focus on manufacturing things that we absolutely need here at home, go ahead and smash the like button. And if you think that it's crazy we rely on countries that we're practically feuding with for medicine, then please do me a huge favor by subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And moving on to another crazy story. Did you guys hear about what happened when a customer at JP Morgan lost $30,000 to scams? Well, it's not surprising to hear that they've denied her request to have this money actually reimbursed to her, but let's hear from both sides of the story for this one, so that way you and I can actually decide like what legitimately happened here. All right, so first off, the number used to text and call the customer matched the customer support phone number of JP Morgan. In fact, this phone number was even found on her Chase debit card. Now that's a key thing to think about with this story. All right, so the call came in and the voice sounded familiar to the usual customer support that you get from Chase, right? Now the issue here is that it was a scammer. It wasn't Chase. So same number, same voice, different people. Got that? So the conversation then led to the scammer saying that there was a potential wire fraud with her account, something that would pretty much startle anybody, right? So of course she's told to press 1 and she does, which then connects her to another scammer who asked for all of her personal banking information. And then once they got her information, they pretty much said, oh, everything looks like it's in order now. Here, ma'am, no need to worry. Now at this point, she pretty much felt relief, but within just a week, her account was drained of around $30,000. You see, these crooks, these Man, I don't even have a word for how low that these people are, but these scammers, they did all kinds of things for her account to be locked in the first place. And then when she was told by the scammer to show up in person and unlock the account, well, you know what happened next? Well, JP Morgan did try to help and they did their best to recover her funds, but of course it was too late. Now, if you guys are asking if we have a law against this, well, yes, we do, but here's the catch. The EFTA, or the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, and Regulation E were made to protect us from these scams. Scams that take our hard-earned money, meaning that banks can reimburse us, all right? But they don't cover wire transfers. They don't cover credit cards or transactions sent through paper checks, the methods that scammers mostly use. A lot of good this does us, right? Now you gotta think, is this the fault of the bank, or are our lawmakers not protecting us enough? You guys decide. Now, keeping in line with scams and bad people taking what's rightfully ours, I saw this one story that pretty much floored me.
William Gordon lives in Maricopa County. For decades, he's been planning his retirement to this picturesque countryside near Tucson.
I bought this property back in 1999, and I've been paying on it for the last 20 years. I was almost paid off.
But he made a shocking discovery a few months back after receiving a letter congratulating him on the sale of his property.
And I called the title company the next day saying, "What is this? Is this legitimate?" And they said, "Yep, your property is sold."
He demanded a review of the sale documents.
And in about 2 minutes, they realized it wasn't my signature, wasn't my phone number, wasn't my social security number. Basically, a third grader could have taken a look at the documents and in 2 minutes figured out this wasn't me.
He learned somebody pretended to be him and successfully sold the property to buyers who paid over $200,000. The buyers got all their money back quickly from the title insurance company, Old Republic Title Insurance.
Now, while it was easy for the buyers to get their money back, Gordon was left scratching his head as he was tossed around from office to office just to have his name put back on his land. I mean, doesn't this show us the system is utterly flawed? Because scammers are getting away with everything, and it feels as if people who abide by what's right are always wronged. I mean, isn't that a crazy world to live in? Like, we're so advanced with AI and all this technology, but we can't check if a social security number actually matches. I mean, come on. And hey, speaking of tech, did you guys hear about the driverless shuttle in Florida?
Another autonomous shuttle is coming to Central Florida. The Swan will start zipping around downtown Orlando on Sunday. SWAN stands for Shuttling with Autonomous Navigation. It'll have 5 stops around the Paramore and Creative Village neighborhoods.
It's so important that we create convenient, accessible means of providing transportation for all of our citizens. And this project is an important step in that direction in how we're going to explore the use of these technologies to expand mobility for all.
Now, this project launched August 20th, and just 2 days later, it already become viral for all the wrong reasons, of course. You see, just 2 days into its use, and it's already crashed. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. The reaction online, though, is kind of mixed because, some people are saying that the shuttle was at fault, while others are pointing their fingers at the human bus driver that looked to have cut off the autonomous vehicle. Rumors are already flying all around that bus drivers in the area feel as if their jobs are on the chopping block, which they kind of are, and they're trying to show us that we can't trust this technology with our lives. Not just yet. But what are you guys' thoughts on that? Make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section down below. And before I go, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for all the likes on the video. Thank you for subscribing, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.